and huge levels of immigrants coming in. I mean, the UK is being colonised. It's costing too much money. It will cause...
It's been colonised?
It'll cause... Well, the UK is being colonised by immigrants, really, isn't it? I mean, the population of the UK was 58 million in 2020. Now it's 70 million. That's 12 million people.
You met recently...
I want to get your thoughts on what's happening in the UK before we talk about Australia. Of course, Keir Starmer is under more and more pressure to resign. He's been in the top job for just 18 months and he's been in the firing line over his decision to hire Peter Mandelson as the UK's ambassador to the US, despite being warned about his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. What's your assessment of this and how much longer does Starmer have left?
Well, not that much longer, but they've got to agree on a challenger. There's 5 or 6, potential candidates for Angela Rayner down in the list of people that want to take over. I think what we can say with certainty is this: Starmer's got zero chance of winning the 28 election. He won't get re-elected under any circumstances. Secondly, most politicians who fight to get to the top like he has don't want to give it away easily. He wants them to come and get him. He doesn't respect the people around him. He thinks he won the election, they didn't. Why would he stand down for people he considers to be inferior to him? So I think he'll fight on. Sooner or later, the Labor Party in Britain will tap him on the shoulder, try and get him to go. If he doesn't, he'll be defeated in a ballot. You've even got the Scottish Labour leader already calling on to stand down. Those calls will grow louder. He's been a very poor British Prime Minister, so I think he's a goner. How long it'll be, who knows? When the challengers have worked out who the challenger is, then you'll have a much better idea. But it's good night, Keir Starmer.
Around the Epstein
Well,
files.
it continues to bring or call into question Starmer's judgment, right?
That's the biggest question about it. It's about judgment, isn't it? About who we trust, who we let in. And Peter Mandelson, for example, he wasn't a, unknown character. Lots of people knew what Peter Mandelson was like. He'd had to resign twice formally because of his connection to dodgy businessmen, basically. And Epstein is obviously far worse than that. So, there was already a kind of form from Peter Mandelson to trust him with bringing him into your government. Obviously, he's tried to stop the blame and kind of pass the buck on to his chief of staff, Morgan McSweeney, who's resigned. And then Tim Allen, as Director of Communications, as current Director of Comms, has resigned as well because of a connection to Mandelson. So they're all trying to, at the moment, cut out a shape of government that isn't impacted by Mandelson. But everyone will remember that it was Keir Starmer ultimately who signed off that appointment. So It's not going away for the Prime Minister.
No, it's not going away. It feels as though the sting has come out of it a little bit, though, as the week has progressed. Is he going to weather this storm, at least in the short term?
Yeah, there's one reason for that, and that's because his opponents his would-be challengers. Yeah, they're not ready. They're not ready. So they were thinking, oh, great, here's an opportunity.
Well,
then all of a sudden everyone realised.
Yeah. Like, aren't his rivals tainted to varying degrees?
Sort of, not in a similar way to him, but
No.
You've got Angela Rayner, who would be my pick. Angela's still, not long resigned from the cabinet herself after a tax affair issue that will kind of be cleared up, hopefully by an investigation, but that's still ongoing. And then Wes Streeting, who was the current health secretary, he's got a load of other skeletons he's dealing with. So they want to try and get their ducks in a row. So I think what's going to happen is they're going to let him run. Keep going, keep limping on, if you like, until the May local elections in England, Scotland, and Wales. And after that, if the results are as bad as we're expecting them to be for the Labour Party, I think he will resign.
I mean, and just for our viewers, just those council elections again in May, I mean, how significant are they?
Yeah, very significant. This is, the equivalent to like the midterms in the US.
Yeah.
It's the first time you would check in democratically since the general election in 2024, before we won, as the Labour Party won that mandate, which was a huge majority. Since then, everything has gone downhill progressively. So we will see what the result is. But the Reform Party in the UK, led by Nigel Farage, expecting to pick up some votes significantly in Labour territory. And then parties like the Lib Dems and the Greens on the left, they've seen a resurgence as well. So at the moment, they're losing at both ends of the spectrum. And that's not going to do well for them.
Well, I mean, what about Kemi Badenoch? I mean, I'm just tracking the polls as you are, and I noticed that like a little bit's come off Reform, not much, but a little bit's come off Reform, and the Tories are on something of an upward trajectory. Has Kemi Badenoch got a little wind in her sails at the moment?
A little bit, I think. But I mean, obviously I'm going to be biased, as I'm never going to praise a Tory. But at the same time, undoubtedly they're doing better than they were. But that's because they were basically at rock bottom after the last election. You couldn't do much worse than they had. But Kemi Badenoch's certainly getting more confidence behind her, because initially in this role as leader of the opposition, she didn't seem that confident. But right now, come on, it's open goal after open goal. If she can't score those, then she shouldn't be in that job.
Yeah.